Subcommittee. Just real quick, we are going to limit testimony to a minute each. For people on each side. If you don't have anything new to add, just stand up and say ditto, please. And because this could get pretty long if we don't. The other thing too is the presentation by the patrons. We're going to try and limit that to like 5. If you could limit that to 5 minutes or keep it as short as possible. That does not include questions from the committee. And then we'll take the testimony, give the patron the last word, and then we'll move on. First up, we're going to have to go a little bit out of order just because we have so many committees rolling around and things like that. And we have the Uber chair of the courts committee who's going to need to get somewhere pretty soon. So, Delegate Rob Bell. All right.
Mr. Chair, members of the subcommittee.
Oh, sorry. Hold on.
Yes, sir.
I believe we need to take attendance first to ensure that we have a quorum. I apologize, Rob. Or Delegate Bell. All right, we have a quorum. All right, Delegate Bell.
Mr. Chair, members of the subcommittee, thank you for having me today. The bill that I have, and I understand you have several on the general topic, is House Bill 1350. So,
go ahead, Delegate Bell.
So, Mr. Chair, like many Virginians, I was appalled and honestly dumbfounded by newspaper reports, as where I saw them. There are also, of course, TV reports about violations that were found at the Envigo dog breeding facility here in Virginia. And I was looking for the article that sort of had some of the long litany of problems that were identified at the facility, but multiple dogs with fighting wounds. I was looking for the number of dogs that I might not have, excuse me, I had a different article in my head, but they said that 500 puppies and dogs were kept inside a building experiencing lethargy and stress because of the temperature. They found multiple dead puppies, and these are being bred for research purposes. And as the sort of interested parties reviewed the law, there was concern that notwithstanding these findings, that the dog breeding facility would be allowed to continue to sell dogs. And so this bill is one approach that others might have, but it directly addresses the issue of continuing sale by them. And what it says is that no dealer or commercial dog or cat breeder, we added cats, shall import for sale, or otherwise offer for sale, including sale for experimental purposes. And that's to get at the direct issue where the breeder has been received from the USDA a citation for direct or critical violation of citations of 3 more violations. And so, Mr. Chair, that was existing law, but this makes sure we get at those who are breeding dogs for research purposes. It adds cats to the list, and I would recommend it to the committee's attention. Thank you.
Thank you, Delegate Bell. Are there any questions from the committee?
Mr. Chairman.
Delegate Goditis.
I suppose I should have asked you this before, Mr. Chairman, but I don't know how to organize my thinking among the number of bills that are dealing with this appalling issue, and I'm glad to be hearing them.
Delegate Ferris.
I don't know if that's a question.
No,
I'm probably not one I can help with.
Delegate Ferris.
You should think hard on all of these issues and find a way to address the problem amongst the bills
Absolutely.
in front of you.
Mr. Chairman, would this prohibit the sale of cats and dogs for experimental purposes from anywhere, from anyone in the state of Virginia, or is that?
Mr. Chair, I would say it was where they had the USDA violations in the current law. So we don't change the criteria. What we get at is we confirm that they cannot be sold for experimental purposes and that it covers cats. That's what the bill does. Now, I know other patrons have different parts of the puzzle, but that's what this bill does.
Delegate Helmer.
Mr. Chair, I think this is actually a question for council. I do know that there are multiple bills dealing with this issue, and if we were to make a favorable recommendation around this bill and also do, for instance, the record-keeping bill and a couple of the other ones there, do they interact effectively together, or are they going to find ourselves in conflict?
Mr. Chairman, I think there is a little bit, I think there's some overlap between the bills. I don't think we have any bills in front of us that are just direct, this one does A and this one takes a complete 180 different that they would. So I think if it comes to a point where y'all are considering what to pass, we might have some recommendations, or if you ask, I could suggest how things could be layered together. But I don't think you have anything that's just an overt conflict in front of you.
Mr. Chair, quick follow-up question for the patron.
Doug Helmer.
Practically speaking, I just want to make sure I understand this well. So we've added cats, which the cat lovers in the audience I know appreciate.
Right.
But effectively what we're saying is if you're a perennial violator, you can't, you're prohibited from the future sale.
Yes, sir.
That's what it boils down to, right?
Yes, sir. And the concern has been that there's a loophole for experimental sales. And there's an argument that that's not true either, but nobody wants to wait and see if this company can somehow find a way through it. And so the people concerned about this said we would like to ensure for sure that any kind of transfer of the animals for experimental purposes is covered by the existing law. So I don't want to say that we don't have a law in place. The concern is that it wouldn't cover the conduct that was discovered at Envigo.
Thank you. Sounds like 3 strikes, you're out. Makes sense. Thanks.
Go to first.
So, Mr. Chairman, so I guess this is a question for staff. I want to make myself clear that the good actors, this will not affect. If by case there is a good actor in the state. Okay. Yes, ma'am.
Question for the patron.
Yeah, I don't see how it would. It doesn't change that. It adds, it actually does not change the criteria whereby you're banned. It just makes it clear that once you are banned, it would cover cats, which is new, but then more importantly, the sale for any experimental purposes would be covered.
So Doug Bell,
Yes, sir.
the bill basically says that if you have all of these infractions, you just can't do business.
Well,
Or
you,
unless they clean, is there an opportunity for
you
them to clean up
can't.
their act?
Let's be clear. You that shall not, and this is existing law, or cannot import for sale, sell, or offer for sale. And then what we're adding is including sale for experimental purposes. Now, if they open a 7-Eleven, they can do that. The issue is not that it directly puts them out of business, but it does put them out of the sale of the raising of dogs and selling of dog businesses. It stops them from importing. It stops them from exporting, selling. That's what it stops. And then ultimately it says it involves the citation for direct, and it's for at least 2 years prior to the procurement of the dog or cat or 2 consecutive violations. So it's got the 2-year look back. I'd make sure staff is right. That's existing law. That's not something I changed. Mr. Chairman, sorry, I don't want to. He asked about how long of the period of preclusion. I said it's current law, which, as I read, is the 2 years. Now, you could change that, but that's not what my bill does. If you decided to do it, you could put it in this bill, but that's not what the bill currently reads.
Okay. All right.
Mr. Chair, with your permission, I'm going to go back to the other committees that are waiting for me to get back. I'm available if you need me.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Doug Bell. All right. So having concluded the questions, can we begin with some testimony? There's one. Okay. Let's start with those in the room that would testify in favor of the bill. If you could come forward, and please keep it brief. Again, about a minute.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, members of the Agriculture Subcommittee. My name is Molly Armis, and I'm the Virginia State Director for the Humane Society of the United States. On behalf of the HSUS, as well as the Virginia Coalition for Beagle Protection, which represents almost 40 Virginia animal welfare organizations, as well as hundreds of thousands of Virginia residents, I respectfully urge you to support HB 1350. I think Delegate Bell did a great job explaining that this simply expands current law to ensure that it includes any dogs or cats sold for experimental purposes. Protections offered by the Animal Welfare Act are meager survival standards, and repeat offenders are allowed to continue breeding and selling animals even if they have repeatedly violated the law. Citations and fines do not necessarily translate into improvements in animal care, and federal investigations can take years. This is fair, this is reasonable, and this is a responsible way forward for the Commonwealth to encourage compliance with the Animal Welfare Act and other animal protection laws. We have a facility here a massive commercial dog breeding facility that has had repeated violations of the Animal Welfare Act. So we encourage you
All right.
to support SB 1350.
Thank you.
HB
Next.
1350.
Susan?
Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman, members of the subcommittee. Susan Seward with the Virginia Veterinary Medical Association. In the interest of time, I will say we support this legislation and any of the other bills before you that may be combined to get to a solution for this very, very troubled facility. We've got to have some meaningful change. I want to leave one statistic with you. There are 5,000 dogs and 17 caretakers. The October USDA inspection had 32 personnel, and 17 of them were assigned to take care of 5,000 dogs. I think under anybody's measure, this is woefully inadequate, and that is why we're ending up with 300 dead puppies and a 9% mortality rate. So please keep that in mind when you consider these bills. Thank you.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman, members of the subcommittee. My name is Kathy Strauss. I'm here on behalf of the Virginia Animal Control Association. I will do as you asked, sir, and say ditto. Please support these bills to provide some oversight and ensure that these creatures have humane care. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, members of the committee, Sharon Quillen Adams, the Virginia Alliance for Animal Shelters. I ran a shelter. We had 180 to 220 animals in it at any given time, and I had 50% more employees taking care of them than Envigo does with a $500 million investment. I did not have a $500 million investment. I also want to remind you that we're talking about animals that have been bred specifically to be companions. These dogs were not bred to be eaten or ridden. They were bred to be companions. They're what sleeps at the end of your son's bed. They come visit you when you come to the door after working all day and wag their tails. They were bred to be companions, and we're keeping them in horrible conditions. They've had 60 years to clean it up. These boys know what they need to do, just haven't done it. Support the bill.
Next.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman, members of the subcommittee. My name is Daphne Nakaminovich, and I represent People for the Ethical Treatment of Animals. I just want to add a little bit about our undercover investigation of this facility, which was released in November, and found that food was willfully withheld from nursing mother dogs for days, even after the USDA directed staff not to do that. And workers were told to lie about it if asked. We documented workers with no veterinary credentials performing medical procedures on dogs, and our investigator found more than 360 dead puppies in the course of the investigation alone on her shifts. Our investigator documented that dogs were routinely left in cages while a supervisor and others sprayed the cages with a high-pressure hose, leaving the soaked animals to shiver and their food to become moldy and infested with maggots, and that puppies fell through holes in the cages and ended up in drains covered with fecal matter and other waste and typically died as a result. This company has been cited for 39 violations in just 3 months. The last October, ditto.
Holly Hazard, representing the Virginia Federation of Humane Societies. I would just also like to say ditto, but I would also ask that everyone in the room who is in support of this bill could stand so that you could see the folks here, and then I will leave that. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, members of the committee, my name is Tabitha Treelor. I'm the Director of Communications for the Richmond SPCA. We will just affiliate our remarks with those who have gone before us and urge that you report this bill.
Hi, my name is Andrea. I'm with the Virginia Federation of Humane Societies, and I just want to say ditto. This is a picture of a dog, and they feel pain just like we do. They need food, they need water, they need care, and they deserve that. Please vote yes. Thank you.
All right, real quick, we'll go to virtual for those that are for. Miss Eileen Henneran.
Thank you. I live in Lorton, Virginia, and I also want to testify in support of this bill. And very briefly, not to repeat information that others have shared, I'm a former employee of the Animal and Plant Health Inspection Service in the U.S. Department of Agriculture, and that is the branch of agriculture that is responsible for enforcement of the Animal Welfare Act. Dating back to 2017, again in November of 2021, and more recently on January 27, 2022, the USDA has found Envigo guilty of various violations of the Animal Welfare Act. I'm sure Envigo will argue that it is taking these concerns very seriously and is taking all appropriate steps to address them, but I will tell you as a former colleague of these individuals that conducted the investigation that they are taking their duty to enforce the law very seriously. They have the highest of integrity and they are very competent, and I hope we will take into consideration the findings of a federal agency with respect to the conduct at this facility. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. All right. Those speaking against the bill. And one virtual. Okay.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman and members of the subcommittee, and thank you for the opportunity to speak today. My name is Carmen Wilborn, and I'm the Vice President of North American Operations for Envigo, the second largest breeder of canines for research. I've been in the industry for over 35 years, and 15 of those responsible for the proper and lawful operations of animal facilities across the globe. I take responsibility seriously, and I maintain commitment to the highest standards of animal welfare. We were highly impacted by COVID-19 with our customers. They stopped ordering animals from us when they were trying to deal with COVID in their buildings. And at the same time, we were having trouble maintaining and attracting staff through the pandemic. So with that combination of higher number of dogs and lower number of staff, it became a perfect storm and a lapse in the quality of the care that we're known for, that we're committed to doing so. We didn't want to euthanize the dogs, and so we did our best with the staff that we had, and there was that lapse in quality. We firmly believe that the legislation introduced in the House designed to limit clients we can sell to or force us to disclose commercially sensitive information is not the right way to ensure animal welfare. Legislation that would put the Cumberland facility out of business benefits no one. Not the folks at our site, taking the high-paying jobs away from them, remove the economic engine and the tax base that Envigo provides to Cumberland County and the Commonwealth, and puts Virginia at a disadvantage to other states that create a friendlier environment for critical medical research. However, or instead, we'd welcome increased oversight from the State Veterinarian's Office and are prepared to work jointly with the Commonwealth to ensure that the dogs in our charge are well cared for. Thank you.
All right, thank you. We have one person online that I believe is here to speak against the bill, Rachel Kepnes, online. Are we?
Hi, I'm not here specifically to speak against it, but I have a disability, so I might have filled that form out wrong. So these are just images of a dog smoking cocaine. That's another one, tattoo. I have many more, but I will read. First and foremost, thank you for letting me speak. In 2022, we are using our taxpayer money on testing like that. That is just the beginning. They get eaten alive by flies. They get their body parts removed. They have their vocal cords cut out and tape put over their mouth so they can't spit out things like detergent. They get tattoos instead of names. They get thrown into cages like they are trash. They get left to bled out while they're awake. They get put in the desert in mesh cages to be eaten alive by sandflies. I am ashamed to be a human, and so should you all. To allow this facility to stay open knowing what I just said will happen, they will be shipped to God knows what country, and places like Envigo do not care. And everyone in this room needs to know that they care nothing about they care only about money and nothing more. No one is exempt from the law, but for some reason, Envigo is allowed to be. They should have their breeding license taken away ASAP, and they should pay rescues to take all those beagles and give them the life they deserve.
All right, thank you. I believe we have one more person in the audience to testify.
Hi, I'm going to shorten this. I'm Dr. Cindy Buckmaster, and I've been directly involved in research and laboratory animal care for over 25 years. And I'm just going to cut to the chase. There are about a dozen bills related to animal research that have been proposed between the House and the Senate. And the truth is that nearly all of them aim to end research with animals in either overt or covert ways. This means that they will also end our ability to develop treatments and cures for ourselves and our loved ones, and that includes our pets. There are a couple of bills being proposed that I fully support because they offer an unprecedented opportunity for the citizens of the Commonwealth of Virginia to actually partner with the research community and provide help and oversight where needed, in addition to providing loving homes for our dogs when their studies are done. It's a level of transparency and public engagement that's never existed before that allows us to put aside our disagreements and join together to serve the health and well-being of animals and people moving forward. Thank you for your time, and I'm happy to answer questions if you like.
All right, thank you. It's a question for staff, or for Lisa. So as I understand the bill, we have the current statute that does the 2 look year back, and that's strictly for basically companion animals. And what the Delegate Bell's bill does is it adds animals bred for experimentation and cats. Okay. So basically the answer, the policy answer that one of the policy answers that we have before us is, are we making animals that are bred for experimental purposes, putting them on, I guess, for lack of a better term, equal footing as companion animals in this regard?
Mr. Chairman, with regard to this existing statute, yes, not for the entire animal chapter.
Okay. Thank you. All right, question for the committee. Do we want to take this by and listen to some of the pieces of legislation as well, and then figure out which policy we would like to move forward on? Is that the consensus?
Mr. Chair, would we take this by temporarily?
Is there a second? Second. All right, taken by temporarily. All right. If we could shift gears, just because I know Delegate Edmonds and Delegate Wyatt have been here for a while. So, and Delegate Wyatt, could you please let's roll through yours real quick, and then Edmonds, and then we will get back to Dog Day. I guess with Rob Bell's bill, it's Cat Day. I should have worn a cat tie. But Delegate Wyatt, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'll be very brief. And carrying House Bill 262 at the request of the Virginia Farmers Market Association. And it's great to see. We know farms on nowadays in 2022 are not always plows, cows, and sows. So there's so many specialty type farms, whether it be a blueberry farm or in an RC zoning in eastern Hanover County, the conservation lot. The gentleman that owns that puts peach trees in, and it's a peach orchard that's sold, pick your own. So a lot of small specialty type farms, a lot of small roadside markets. So at the request, again, of the Virginia Farmers Market Association, I am patroning this bill to expand the definition to agribusiness, to include farmers markets and roadside stands to help promote those products and really bring additional recognition on how important our roadside stands and farmers markets are around the Commonwealth.
All right. Questions from the committee? Delegate Helmer.
Mr. Chair, a question for the patron.
Delegate Helmer.
Mr. Chair, just wanted to understand from the patron, if we were to pass this, I know farmers markets in my district too, which is got a little bit of rural, and I mean the farmers market I have is kind of right in the middle of homes and things like that. If we were to pass this, will this impact whether they have to follow the fire code and all the other components of that, and what would be the practical impact in more densely populated areas where we have a farm market?
I would respond to the delegate, Mr. Chairman, as no, VDAX already regulates our roadside stands and farmers markets, and I would not want to carry any bill that would cause any harm to our small specialty type farms or farmers markets in urban areas as people try to sell what they grow. Strictly from a marketing standpoint, to raise awareness and help these folks really put them on the map on how important now our roadside stands are and our farmers markets.
Mr.
And I think Ms. Hutchinson is on as well to speak on behalf of the Farmers Markets Association. So,
I'll wait for this one. Thanks.
Delegate Ferris.
So if I understand correctly, this legislation would not put any more oversight or regulations on farmers markets.
that's my understanding. It would have to come from the locality, which they can already do, or additional from VDAX. And I think we have someone from VDAX that is here today to can confirm that or clarify any clarifying questions that you may have, Mr. Chairman.
All right. At this point, we'll take some testimony. Are they all online? Is there anybody in the audience that would like to testify in favor? Okay. All right. Let's go with Dr. Kim Hutchinson.
Thank you so much. I appreciate the opportunity to speak today, Mr. Chairman and committee members, and thank you, Delegate Wyatt, for patroning this. The Virginia Farmers Market Association works with over 356 farmers markets across the state, as well as over 20,000 food producers, vendors, farmers that sell in a retail setting. And we are interested in being deemed a agribusiness because to have farmers markets and farm stands be deemed as a component of agribusiness in order to not only increase marketing but opportunities for the markets on the financial side, as well as resource and training farmers markets, and bringing them into a market-centric agribusiness in Virginia. We'll create partnerships with customers that will help agribusinesses in order to expand their scope so that they are not just focused on farm but also in the community. And instead of focusing on optimizing production, they can focus on maximizing consumer experiences and total customer satisfaction. Many successful agribusiness producers are wrapping their marketing effort within a total service package that includes consumer education, feedback, e-commerce, and other forms of support. Across the country, agribusiness is being reframed with a larger view and expansion and includes a system that encompasses. So we support this bill. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Next up, we've got Dan Lefevre, who is here to speak against the bill.
Hello, Mr. Chairman and members of the committee. I represent Virginia Independent Consumer and Farmer Association, and we are concerned that this addition to the term of agribusiness in the current legislation of farmers markets and roadside stands is unnecessary, and it's going to open the door to regulating direct commerce between small farm producers and their immediate consumers. It's a contract between two parties, and there's not really any reason for the state to get involved. I also think consumers should reserve, the freedom and right to trade directly with their farmer of choice without the intervention of the state. And when you have direct marketing like this, there's minimal risk involved. And folks that I've contacted at VDAC's food safety program said they already have jurisdiction for inspection if necessary, but because it's such low risk, they don't generally do many inspections, and they don't see why there's any reason to include this, nor would they think.
Dan, thank you. Appreciate it. We've got, next up is Ann. Buteau? Yeah, Buteau? Yeah. I'm really nervous about the last name. And if you could, please, and please keep it brief. Sorry, Ann, go ahead.
Hello?
All right, we can hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yes, please.
Okay. So, this is Ann Buteau, Nelson County, Virginia. Mr. Chairman, members of the committee, I ask you to oppose this bill. I'm wondering how many actual farmers who sell at farmers markets or owners of roadside stands actually asked for this bill, or whether it was just the Farmers Market Association. There are already regulations to cover how food products sold at farmers markets and farm stands should be produced and handled and labeled, and these safety measures are working just fine. No one is getting sick. I don't think it's appropriate to lump farmers markets and farm stands in with industrial scale, vertically integrated industrial food production and distribution systems, because there's a whole difference in size and scale. Small businesses have personal accountability, traceability, and people aren't getting sick. So we don't need the door opened for more regulation than is absolutely necessary.
Thank you.
So I'll ask you to vote against. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Delegate Helmer, you had a question?
I think what I heard from the patron is that this is simply about marketing. And I just want to understand, does defining agribusiness in this way have follow-on impacts elsewhere in the code? Are we changing how we think of agribusiness elsewhere, changing the regulatory framework? Is this just simply allowing marketing of farmers markets as agribusiness?
Mr. Chairman, the section of the code that this is put in is just some general powers and duties of the commissioners. Specifically, the clause that this is put in, the commissioner currently promotes agribusiness, and this just says that agribusiness includes farmers markets and roadside markets. So this isn't getting into anything regulatory.
So somewhere else in the code, like it's not going to say if we see agribusiness elsewhere in the code.
This is not a definition that's referenced anywhere else in the code.
Mr. Chairman.
Delegate Wright.
Mr. Chairman, I have a question for the patron, please.
Delegate Wright.
In my area, there's a lot of small farmers, sometimes they even raise them in the garden. And they go into town, and there's a lot of small towns have gotten money to put out these farmers markets. People enjoy coming in and getting the vegetables and so forth. Are they going to be under any more regulation than they are under now? That's one that I'm concerned about. It's a real small one.
And Mr. Chairman, no, sir, I hope not. The district that I represent, I would never carry anything that would cause any additional regulation on those folks. And I do think the VDAC's representative, I think his title is the Deputy Director of Marketing, who is with us, Mr. Bill Scruggs, may be able to answer some of that about the marketing type and what they can open these folks up to. But my original intent to carry this bill was to help these folks out, to help promote roadside stands and farmers markets. I by no means want any regulation. The eastern part of Hanover County, New Kent, and King William County that I represent, there are numerous folks that sell on the side of the road and roadside stands. And my whole intention of carrying this bill was to help promote and raise awareness of how important these roadside stands and farmers markets are to the Virginia economy and promoting Virginia-grown products.
Let me just say that I support your bill, and I just had to ask that question for my constituents. I got complete confidence in you and think the bill will be okay, but I just want to be sure about that.
All right, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Question for council. Do we actually have a definition of agribusiness in the code?
Mr. Chairman, we do not actually, and so that was one of the challenges in drafting this bill.
Okay.
So this is just clarifying where agribusiness is referenced, that reference can be interpreted to include farm stands and markets.
Okay. Thank you. All right, there is a motion to report. Second. Properly seconded. Clerk will open the roll. Clerk will close the roll. HB 262 reports 9-1. Thank you, Delegate Wyatt.
Thank you.
Delegate Campbell, you have courts in a little bit, right? Yes. All right, please come forward. Do you have anywhere to be? Do you have a committee? Do you have a committee or anything?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Today I have House Bill 53. It's an animal care bill dealing basically with zoos throughout the state. The bill is drafted so that it will be placed in the code section where farmers' livestock is at. And what it does is it adds the term probable cause instead of reasonable cause to the bill. So it actually helps the farmers out in addition to the zoo owners. And that's basically the bill. I could speak to things that have been going on throughout the last couple of years or longer, but I don't think it's any need to hash that stuff today. We could just move on so I can get to corpse.
Thank you, Delegate Campbell. And are there any questions from the committee?
Do you have public comment or? Do you have public comment?
We can do public comment next if unless anybody has a question.
Mr. Chairman, if I may, and to the patron, and he and I have discussed the matter. My candid concern, I have problems in this bill as it stands now where we take out reasonable cause versus probable. And I consulted my seatmate attorney, and he told me if you put in probable, they can't just go do an investigation based on hearing several complaints orally. That's the current practice now with a reasonable cause. They've had several complaints. They're able to go out and investigate and verify whether there's a problem or not. And if you put in probable cause, from a legal standard, being non-lawyer, I've been told that's a much higher bar. I do think the patron has a legitimate issue insofar as it relates to zoos. In my mind, they should be treated more like an agricultural setting. And so my thought, and I guess I'm throwing it out now, Mr. Chairman, because it may impact on some of the testimony, my thought would be that we should amend the bill, leaving in the zoo language where we put that in definitional section, take out all the other new language except wherever it says in code agricultural animal, insert, or zoo animal. The effect of that would be that before they can go into a zoo facility and do a seizure, just like on a farm operation, the state vet has to be notified. And the same protections would attach to the zoo that would attach to a current farm operation, but we're not upsetting the current standard practice with agricultural animal protections. The other difficulty you get into, in my mind, if we go further than that, in agricultural animals, the standard there is normal husbandry practices, and that gets a little fuzzy when you're talking about zoo operations, but I think this is kind of drawing the line in the middle to give some greater protections to zoo facilities and petting zoos, but not changing it for everybody. So I'm just throwing that out for a thought. I'm not proposing it as amendment at this time, but just as presenters might speak to that and tell me how wrong I am, or maybe I might be right. I don't know.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to say to the delegate that in my background, finding probable cause has never been a major problem. It's basically if you have reason to believe that a crime has been committed or is being committed, and you have something to back that up, like somebody calling you and telling you about it, or even someone sending somebody in to work, or as just a tourist in the case of zoos, you could establish probable cause with no problem at all. And that's been my contention on the whole thing. I just feel like even with the farm animals, now, I've had dealings with this in my past, and I have had to call the state animal warden or veterinarian. Had to call both of them, matter of fact, but I've had to call the state veterinarian on cattle. You could see them from the road. You could tell they were being starved. So I've had a little bit of an experience with these type of subjects, and when we drafted the bill a couple of years ago, we were trying to get these people to where they didn't have to worry about someone showing up to seize their animals and bring charges against them after they seize the animals. So I'll leave it up to the committee.
All right,
And
thank you.
I'll accept whatever decision y'all make.
Delegate Helmer.
Mr. Chair, if it would be all right, I wanted to ask a follow-up question, Delegate Orrock's point. So Delegate Orrock, if we were to amend the bill as you suggested, essentially we would leave the standard the same. I just want to make sure I understand. We would be leaving the standard the same. We would not be moving to a higher standard.
The difference from my understanding what it would do right now, because zoos are not in agricultural, the animal control officer can do immediate seizures. And this would then put those animals in that facility in the same posture as a farm, that the state vet has to be brought into the equation. And in all candor, no disrespect to any animal control officers, but some of them are a little more zealous in the pursuit of their duties than others. And when you bring the state vet in, that's why that slot is there with agricultural animals, to build in some guardrails, because not all animal control officers know the normal husbandry practices within the agriculture industry, but the state vet does. Similarly, I would think the state vet would have a better understanding of the normal husbandry for zoo animals than maybe your local animal control officer would. So I think it is to the patron's objective, getting them a piece of a loaf, but not all of it.
All right, at this time, we'll start taking testimony. All those speaking in favor that are in the room, please come up. Please keep it brief.
Hello, thank you. My name is Heidi Krosky, and I'm here today on behalf of the Virginia Animal Owners Alliance. We're here to ask that you please strongly support this bill in its entirety. We actually formed the VAOA after learning that the simple act of acquiring an animal, it doesn't matter what kind of animal it is, the simple act of acquiring an animal strips you of your right to due process. Every American is supposed to be given the right of due process, and so we are just asking that you please give us what every other American is supposed to have. We are Americans too. Thank you.
Thank you. Next. Way to keep it brief.
Ooh, I'm sorry. I'm Beth Edwards, and I strongly support this bill, and I'm just an animal owner.
Thank you. All right, now for virtual, we have Miss Alice Harrington. Miss Alice Harrington, could you please unmute your mic? All right, can we have Miss Erin Dempsey?
Hello, thank you for hearing me today. I am fully in support of this bill. I have my own animals, and I also am a zookeeper, and I definitely think that we should be given the same courtesies as other facilities.
Is it my turn?
You'll be next, Miss Alice.
I did, I thought.
Go ahead, Erin, and then we'll have.
I've unmuted it.
Erin, please finish, and then we'll take Alice.
Okay, perfect. So I definitely think that we do deserve the right to be told that we have someone who has had a concern, especially in regards to smaller facilities. And thank you for hearing. I have my own animals, and I also am a zookeeper. And I definitely think that we should be given the same courtesies as other facilities.
Is it my turn?
You'll be next, Miss Alice. All right, Miss Alice, go ahead.
Go ahead, Erin, and then we'll have.
I've unmuted it.
Miss Alice, I think Miss Alice, can you mute? So I definitely Miss Alice, can you hit the mute button? Especially in regards to.
All right, first off, everyone that is on virtual, please turn off your live stream. Mute your live stream, please. There's still one going in there. Ms. Harrington, could you pause the live stream?
Hello?
There you go.
Hi, I'm Alice Harrington. I'm the legislative liaison for the Virginia Federation of Dog Clubs and Breeders, and we strongly support all the aspects of this bill. We were formed in 1971, and we represent hobby breeders and preservation breeders. We're for this bill because it does raise the level of proof required before a person can get a warrant for suspected animal cruelty, from reasonable to the more robust requirement of probable cause. This change is needed to preserve the rights of all animal owners from the frequently overzealous, manipulative, and agenda-driven actions of various law enforcement officers and prosecutors. What are some of these actions? Focusing on owners that are going through hard times because they are vulnerable. Have a special prosecutor manage the case, including bringing in her own judge to preside over the hearings and trial. Using the overly broad Virginia definition of emergency veterinary care, so a person can be charged with animal cruelty for a minor condition that is probably already being tended to by the owner's veterinarian. In a seizure, take all the animals, regardless of whether they're in danger or not, especially the most valuable ones.
All right, Ms. Alice,
The
thank
owner
you.
will be charged a daily fee for the maintenance of the seized animals. The higher the
All right, thank you very much. So the Federation of Dog Clubs and Breeders is for the bill. We've heard from Ms. Erin Dempsey. Now let's go to Becky Shore. Okay, is Miss Vanessa Rohr in the room? Miss Vanessa Rohr, please.
Thank you. I own Rohr Zufari, which is accredited by the ZAA and recently certified American Humane. We are clearly committed to animal welfare, and we ask for your support in this bill. Currently, the animals that are cared for and loved by staff and a team of veterinarians are not recognized by the state as having their own unique needs, not defined as part of an industry such as agriculture, and not protected from confiscation or even euthanasia, as the Virginia Animal Law Unit has demonstrated they're willing to perform during previous confiscations. This bill ensures better animal welfare by including the people providing oversight and care in a constitutional and legal due process. Without this bill, the animals in our care are at risk of being confiscated by people that frankly don't know and know a water buffalo from an anole lizard. All animals in Virginia deserve to have their day in court and be represented by their veterinarians, owners, zookeepers, and inspectors before they are confiscated under the pre-crime language that is written into the existing law. I thank you for your consideration and ask that you support this measure in the name of animal welfare.
All right, thank you. I believe that concludes our testimony. Delegate Orrock.
Mr. Chairman, I am going to propose the amendments I commented on. What that would do is leave the bill intact through page 4 of the introduced legislation. And this would, of course, have to be amendment in nature of a substitute that it would take Lisa a while to draft, but we'd see before full committee. It would then remove all new language in the remaining 2 pages, so nothing about the current process changes, except we would need to go through in those same 2 pages and anywhere that it currently says, such as on line 285, before seizing or impounding any agricultural animal, we would insert or animal located at a zoo. So that wherever we see agricultural animal, we would link that to zoo animals will be treated in a similar manner as it relates to the enforcement of the animal cruelty complaints. And I would move that as an amendment.
Okay. There is an amendment to do everything that Delegate Orrock just said. And is there a second? Then after that, we need to give testimony to folks that are against that were in the room. There's a second. So there's a motion to adopt the amendment. There's a proper second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those against? Okay. No. There's one no. Now, if we could just real quick brief those that are against the bill in the room that would like to testify in the room, please come forward and testify really quick. And if you, yeah, as fast as we can,
Yes.
please, because I think some of the, oh, sorry, go ahead.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman, members of the subcommittee. My name is Kathy Strauss from the Virginia Animal Control Association. First of all, I want to be very clear. Reasonable articulable suspicion is a widely accepted standard in this country for investigation. Probable cause is still necessary to bring any charges. That does not change. When charges are brought, there are hearings, there are trials, there's absolutely due process. Our objections to this bill were as it was written. If Delegate Orrock's amendment is adopted, as it sounds like it has been, we can live with that.
Thank you. Next. Next. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Amen and amen.
Oh, we're doing amens instead of dittos now. All right, moving on. Next.
Thank you, Molly Armis. I'm the Virginia State Director for the Humane Society of the United States. On behalf of our supporters in Virginia, we urge you to oppose HB 53 even as amended. Zoo animals do not deserve any less protection. I think one of the things I just want to note is that 3.2-6569 absolutely affords everyone due process. Even if an animal is seized and impounded within 10 days, there has to be a hearing to determine whether or not that seizure should remain. We urge you, please do not move this bill forward even as amended. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Next. Susan. By the way, nice pen.
Thank you. Susan Seward, Virginia Veterinary Medical Association. We opposed the original introduced language, but we can support the bill as amendments offered by Delegate Orrock. Thank you.
Thank you. Next.
Holly Hazard with the Virginia Federation of Humane Societies. We strongly oppose the bill. We would ask for a no vote on the bill. We don't have any evidence of any kind of misuse of power by animal control officers in this regard. We have several facilities in Virginia with a fairly checkered past in relation to their animal care, and we would ask that you would oppose the bill.
Thank you. Next.
Tabitha Treelord, Richmond SPCA. Even as amended, we continue to oppose this bill. It loosens protections for zoo animals to that of agricultural animals. In many cases, these animals are exotic and not native to this climate, and that standard is inappropriate. Zoo animals should be afforded, as they are currently, additional protections closer to that of companion animals and need to be held to a standard that affords them shelter, food, water, space, exercise, and enrichment, and emergency veterinary care when needed. Thank you. Please oppose this bill.
Thank you. Next.
Good afternoon. Daphne Nekminovich with PETA, and I just echo my colleagues' comments opposing the bill as amended as well. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you. Delegate Campbell, you have the last word.
Yes, sir. It sounds to me like we're going to make some progress with our zoo owners, so thank y'all very much before you vote.
Well, we hope so. Delegate Orrock.
Yes, sir.
Does anybody have any other questions? All right. This committee operates by motion.
I move to recommend reporting as amended.
There has been a motion to report as amended.
I have one question.
Oh, Delegate Wright.
Patron, do you agree with the amendment? I couldn't tell for sure whether you agree with it or not.
Well, it's kind of like going to buy a car. You can't always get what you want. You have to take what you can get. Yeah.
All right. We have a motion with a substitute. Is there a second?
Second.
Second. All those in favor, please record your vote on the voting pad. Clerk will close the roll. HB 53 reports 6-4. Thank you, Ron. Sorry, before we move on to the dog stuff, Delegate Edmonds, you've been sitting very patiently.
It's okay. This is more dog stuff.
Is it more dog stuff? Well, okay. We'll move back in. I've got my tie. We're good.
Okay, good. Good afternoon, everybody. Mr. Chairman, House Bill 1330 is an amendment in nature of a substitute.
Okay, but is there a motion to adopt the substitute? There's a motion to adopt the substitute. Is there a second? Second. There is a second. All those in favor of adopting the substitute, say aye. All right, Delegate Edmonds, please explain your bill.
As amended, the substitute now requires a reasonable attempt to scan a companion animal at the time of intake, at the time of assessment, and prior to disposition. And, Mr. Chairman, I should have clarified, this is about microchips and scans of microchip animals.
Okay.
If a chip is detected, the agency, veterinarian, or shelter shall make every reasonable attempt, that's mainly what the substitute does, to contact the owner. It also requires that the agency shall maintain documentation for at least 30 days from the date of final disposition, the reason an animal could not be scanned. We have worked with Veterinarians Association to draft this substitute, and to my knowledge, there's peace in the valley.
Is there any questions from the committee? All right, hearing none, we'll take testimony. Anybody here to speak in favor of the bill?
James Turpin, Alley Cat Allies. We support the concept of the bill and hope it will be reported and move forward.
All right, next. Real quick.
Yes, my name is Heidi Krosky with the Virginia Animal Owners Alliance, and we are asking for your full support of this bill. Thank you.
Thank you. Next.
Kathy Strauss, Virginia Animal Control Association. We support the bill, and we're very grateful to Delegate Edmonds for entertaining our substitute language. Thank you.
Next.
Sharon Irons, Virginia Alliance for Animal Shelters. We support the bill. We again thank so much Lisa Wallmeyer and the delegate for hearing us.
Susan Seward, BVMA. We're good. This is standard industry practice at this point. So thank you.
Thank you. All right, Ms. Alice Harrington, please turn off your live stream. And you have the floor.
Delegate Edmonds for entertaining our substitute language. Thank you. Next.
Oh, okay, what happened up there? Okay. All right. Delegate Edmonds, after testimony, you have the last word.
Are you going to take any opposition?
There you go. There's the
Good.
last word.
Thank you.
All right. There's been a motion to report and properly seconded. The clerk will open the roll. Oh, report with a substitute. Delegate Orrock has the last word.
That's fine. It's a good word.
Clerk will close the roll. HB 1330 reports 10-0. Thank you, Delegate Edmonds.
Members of the committee.
All right. Where did my list go? Delegate Davis. And then...
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I figured I'd break up the dog bills here for a minute. Mr.
Comedy's
Chair.
hard, Delegate Davis. Delegate Davis, please describe your bill.
Thank you. Mr. Chair, if I may, while I'm doing that, if I can please pass these to the clerk to hand out. Mr. Chair, thank you.
Do you have an amendment or anything?
I do.
Okay.
Would you like me to move the amendment first?
Are they technical or are they just...
No, they're kind of substantial.
Okay.
Let's see.
Let's see.
Okay. They're good.
All right. If you could kind of describe your bill and what the amendment does. And then
Sure, and if I'll describe it together because they're somewhat technical. VDH did them. So, Mr. Chairman, this bill, although it was a really good idea, was not my idea. It was actually brought to me by a couple of high school ladies that will testify in a second, who spend time helping put together food donations for those homeless and less fortunate. And what they found out was there are situations where the liability that our grocery stores and others would assume with donations got in the way of getting more donations for our homeless and less fortunate. So they brought a bill forward to me, and that's what you see in front of you today, and all this does is to, and this is what the amendment does, Mr. Chair, it cleans up the right language, that no entity that donates or accepts food, that no food donor or food organization, as defined in the proper section of code, shall be criminally or civilly liable for donating or receiving commercially processed food past the best by date, as long as the commercially processed food meets all labeling and date requirements, if applicable. Mr. Chair, the issue at hand with many people that donate food is they think because it's past the best by date, they're liable, and that is not good food. And we all know better. That does not mean that's the day the food spoils. This says that as long as it's labeled properly, that food can still be donated, and liability will not be put on that entity that's donating that as long as it's properly labeled, Mr. Chair. And there are members that would love to testify.
Mr. Chairman.
Delegate Homer and then Delegate.
Well, this is a question on the amendment.
Yes, sir.
So technically, if I read the amendment correctly, we need to make this in two places in the bill. Am I correct, Lisa? Because we've got that same language on line 32.
I think so.
I think it would just be the same language in both places. No?
Mr. Chairman, where the bill is amended deals specifically with restaurants who have some other, I'm not sure if anybody from the health
I'm
department's
with you.
here, but
Never
they have
mind.
some other concerns.
Thank you. Okay. Mr. Chairman, so it's a proper posture. I move the adoption of the amendment.
There's been a motion to adopt the amendment, properly seconded. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All right, Delegate Homer, I believe you have a question for David.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I mean, no, I'm Bill. I actually love this bill. Just real quick clarification with the amendment. The whole purpose of this is protect from liability if you provide food and there's distributed beyond the Best Buy date. And so what is the date requirements that are different than the Best Buy date? Because it seems internally conflicted and almost counter to the.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I would say to the delegate that depending on the food, whether it's from a grocery store or a restaurant, federal regulations, state regulations are different requirements regarding date requirements and labeling requirements. So food still has to meet all of those, and as long as it does, the food is able to be donated. So we can't have a bottle of milk donated without a date label at all on there. Likewise, food that has peanuts is labeled as such, and you would not want them donated without the proper labeling, Mr. Chair.
Mr. Chair, follow-up question. Mr. Chair, the patron's answer on the labeling piece really makes total sense. I guess what I'm trying to understand, if you're the recipient of this, if you're the recipient of the food, needs to meet the labeling requirements, so you're good. How do you reconcile that second part, though, the date requirements if it's past the Best Buy date? That's the part that I'm having. Maybe council can answer.
Mr. Chairman, I think I understand this correctly. Again, if there's somebody here from Department of Health, I welcome a phone a friend. But I believe there are special requirements on restaurants when they are actually preparing food and putting food together that has to do with the second dates. I gave all my amendments away. Not the Best Buy date labeled on the package, but the date requirements have to do more with if there's a 7-day date once you open something or once you use something, and that's different than if you buy a carton of milk that says used by or best by X date.
So Mr. Chair, if EDH is able to answer this, that would be very helpful.
Okay.
Good afternoon, Chair. It's Julie Henderson with the Virginia Department of Health, and that's correct. There are specific requirements in restaurant regulations that have to do with food that's produced and made within the restaurant, and that's called date marking, and it's a 7-day date. And so my understanding is the way this bill is written, that this food would not be donated.
Mr. Chair, follow-up question.
One more.
Last
and then
one.
I've got 2 more in the queue.
So would the recipient, this is probably for the patron at this point, maybe for BDH. I'm concerned that the recipient, right, is going to entertain liability for this 7-day restaurant piece, which almost, it may put them in the posture of not wanting to take this food. So I just want to make sure I understand that, is this going to transfer, are they going to then be liable if the restaurant provided the food?
From my understanding, as long as it has the required data information on there, it can be donated and there shall be no liability.
Lisa may be able to speak to this, but so the language change in here, it initially read food and now it's commercially processed food, so we would not include food that's made within the restaurant because of our concerns.
Delegate Runyon.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. As I read the bill, to make sure I'm correct, this applies to farmers, processors, grocery stores, everywhere. So it's all food packaged, and we've got now the exemptions. From a prior life, I was involved in food production, and so I remember we have use by, sell by, and best by. This bill only refers to best by. How does the patron or perhaps staff, how do we envision that sell by product dates or use by product dates would apply? As my understanding, use by has a different connotation or a different legal regulation than a sell-by does or a best-by does.
Okay, did you hear the delegate's question?
I did not, I apologize, but I think we do have an answer. I think I know where he was talking about, and staff just let me know that the easiest way to get around some of this is to do an amendment that strikes language starting on line 41, where it mentions 35.1-14.2, and Lisa, if I may, all the way down to.
Sure. Mr. Chairman, there's two sections in the bill as introduced. The first section deals more generically with food donations, so that would be you and me giving food, an organization, whatnot. 35.1 specifically deals with restaurants donating food, and I think that's the section that's causing all of the confusion. I think the meat of the bill, sorry, no pun intended, I think that the main focus of what Delegate Davis is trying to accomplish in the bill is accomplished in the 3.2 section, so if the other point is causing confusion or heartburn, the bill's still going to accomplish what he wants to accomplish without it.
Mr. Chair.
Doug Runyon.
So I think we have a half a loaf to keep the food metaphors going. And I mean to do no harm to the bill because I really like the bill, and my food bank experience has run into this. And so a suggestion would be that your bill be amended to include, my thing went off, sell by and best by, and then by default, use by, as I understand it, is a requirement that the food cannot be safely consumed after that date. And so if we need that in there, we can put it in there, or we just leave it out and have best by, sell by. Because some packages don't have best by. They have sell by dates on it. I think I'm correct on that.
All right. So, as I understand the delegate, what you're thinking of is proposing an amendment that would encompass best by and sell by, but because the regulations are different than use by, that perhaps if we agree to move forward in concept, we could have a substitute that would encompass what you were talking about.
That's correct.
Which would add sell by as well.
As applicable for labeling requirements. Lisa, is that in that part? But that's the part we just.
Would we be able to do that? A question for council.
Mr. Chairman, I don't think we decided which way we're going to go. If we wanted to leave in the restaurant part, we could amend it that way. If you wanted to, just to be clear, the section in 3.2 does still contemplate restaurants donating. I think it just contemplates them more donating traditional food pantry staples and not, at the end of the day, we still have 3 trays of lasagna that we just made that we could give somewhere. So I think that's the difference that we're dealing with the two sections.
Understood. So I do like the gentleman's amendment. Anything that allows more food to be donated, I think is in the best interest of what the authors had envisioned.
Delegate Orrock.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, I think the subcommittee is very receptive to the patron's broader concept, and we're just not ready with the words tonight. So, Mr. Chairman, I would move that we recommend that the bill be reported to committee with the understanding the patron will bring us, giving Lisa some time to actually draft this, some language to address it, and I would suggest the patron get with Delegate Runyon over here to make sure we dotted all the T's and crossed all the I's, and I said that on purpose. But anyway, nobody's listening.
So there is a motion to adopt.
And Mr. Chair, just before, and I don't want to kill my bill, so I apologize. But the 2 high school students that put all this together, I'd just like to introduce them, have them speak just briefly, if I may.
Yeah.
Sure. Thank you. Please.
Come on.
Hi. Thank you so much for having me here to speak today. I'm a junior in the IB program at Princess Anne High School and the Environmental Studies program, and I'm from Virginia Beach. I also am the site director of a nonprofit dedicated to helping farms, supermarkets, and other businesses manage their excess food by immediately transporting it to community agencies in need, serving those in need. And we have redistributed over 2 million pounds of excess food, but we have barely scratched the surface of the problem. I meet with business owners daily, and despite the Emerson Act, they still have reservations about donating because of the vague language regarding liability protections for donations past the best by date. Two of our major partners, Food Donation Connection, which manages donations from programs like national chains like Whole Foods and Chick-fil-A, as well as Norfolk-based Military Produce Group, which supplies all of the commissaries on Virginia's military bases, both strongly support this bill, and as you can see in the written statements I think you received, please vote to pass this bill and make sure Virginia's wholesome food fills our plates and not our landfills. And, oh wait, sorry. Can I say one? Sorry, can I say one more thing regarding, I think the concern that was brought up by Delegate Helmer before? So it was regarding, I think, the part that said as long as the food meets all date and labeling requirements. And my idea to kind of like address that concern, because we're talking about commercially processed food, so they're packaged. I was thinking, what if we said instead, as long as the food has all required date and labels printed on the packaging, so that they know it's not, like businesses might get confused with the fact that they have to meet those requirements, but instead of having it printed on it, I think is more the issue we're trying to talk about. But yeah, that was my idea for that.
Mr. Chair, I just say to Delegate Davis, if this is a constituent, he better watch out.
I'm telling you. Would you like to say something?
All right, one more.
I'm sorry, just one more.
Absolutely.
Hello, delegates. My name is Uraya Majuru from Princess Anne High School in Virginia Beach, Virginia. I'm speaking before you today regarding Bill 1249. My friend Natalia and I have spent the past couple years in the food rescue program, and we learned a lot about the food rescuing process. We've contacted hundreds of businesses requesting their excess food. However, many expressed their distress while having to throw away food that they knew could be given away and feared the liability. With this amendment, businesses will save money from funds that would have been spent on disposal and will receive benefits for their community contributions. My family alone has saved over 10,000 pounds of food and given it to churches and community centers to distribute. We have the people who want to give, we have the businesses that want to help, and the people that need to receive, but we need your support, delegates, and today you have the power to change this with just one simple clarification. Thank you.
All right, real quick.
I can't really follow these great speakers. Y'all are wonderful.
Are you sure you want to go?
Yeah, Beck Stanley. Real quick, Beck Stanley, Agribusiness Council. We support this bill. We're really proud of Delegate Davis for it. Hope you will too. Thank you all.
All right, thank you. I don't think anybody's going to speak against the bill. So currently we have a motion to adopt a substitute and a second to adopt a substitute in concept that we'll see at full committee. So the clerk will open the roll. Make sure you all take a picture of this. What's saying? I'm going to take a picture in full committee too. Clerk will close the roll.
If they could take pictures of each other simultaneously.
HB 1249 reports 10-0.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, committee.
All right, but first, real quick, Delegate Simons, can you explain your bill? Because we had Rob explain his bill, and I think most of the other folks that are involved in this particular conversation, they're gonna not, y'all's testimonies probably ain't gonna change very much. So if you could just explain your bill real quick, and then we're gonna take it by and we're gonna figure out which bill we like, and then we're gonna send one out.
Okay. So
HB 255 would increase protection for animals used for experimentation by preventing the purchase of animals with public funds unless the source facility complies with federal animal welfare laws. In Vigo, a beagle breeding facility in Cumberland County has been operating in our state without any oversight or regulation since 1961. Until very recently, most of us had no idea that this place even existed, even though it keeps about 5,000 beagle dogs and puppies, and has said it produces 500 puppies per month to sell for experiments all over the world. So my fellow delegates, I know everyone shares the same concern. I know we've been getting a lot of emails about this. I believe ensuring that taxpayer dollars do not fund the purchase of animals from facilities with these violations is good policy, and I hope it is the pleasure of the committee to report the bill. So this bill targets the research institutions that might purchase animals from in Vigo. And I think it is a little bit of a lighter touch than some of the other bills.
Mr. Chairman.
Delegate O'Rourke.
Parliamentary inquiry, while we may want to hear the presenters on the others, and I apologize I wasn't here, but in my looking and reading of the bills, it appears Delegate Bell's bill is the broader. And parliamentarily, typically you act on the broader version, and in the event that it fails, then you would take up the more narrower bills that get a smaller bite at the apple. So I guess I'm thinking, Mr. Chairman, I don't want to preclude the patrons from presenting, but when we go to vote, we're going to need to vote on Delegate Bell's bill first, that would be correct, being the broader measure. Am I correct? Okay.
That would be correct. All right. Thank you, Delegate Simons. Appreciate it. All right. Next, Delegate Converse Fowler. I understand that there's changes to your legislation. Could you, that yours is going to be different than the Vigo topic, correct?
Yes, Mr. Chair, and I have a substitute.
All right, well then let's take that up. And if you could explain your substitute, that'd be great.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The substitute was just a miscommunication during drafting, and it simply corrects the error. And this is our true intent with the bill, and I can explain the bill.
Yes, sir. This is a different bill. Okay, does everybody have a substitute? All right, so Delegate Fowler, if you could repeat exactly what your bill does.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The substitute requires that pet shops shall retain records indicating any time a dog, a cat, or a rabbit in its possession or custody dies or is euthanized. These records need to be maintained for at least 2 years, available to the inspector and the animal control by request, and reported annually to the Virginia Department of Agriculture and Consumer Services. Virginia pet stores that sell puppies have grown up to 22 stores. Back in 2017, there was only 13. The certificate of veterinary inspections reports show that most of these puppies are coming from large-scale, out-of-state commercial breeders. Currently, all Virginia animal control officers, private and public shelters, and all rescues must report their natural deaths and euthanasias to the state vet's official office annually to be published for public information. So it would just give consumers that transparency piece to it. And I think that covers it, Mr. Chair. I want to be brief.
Thank you, Delegate Converse Fowler. Is there any questions from the committee before we hear testimony? Because this is a little... All right, apologize. All right, the substitute has properly been moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Aye, the substitute is adopted. Now, are there any other questions? And then we'll take testimony. All those in favor, please come forward and keep it brief.
Mr. Chair and members of the committee, I'm Kara Moran with Virginia Positivity Initiative. I want to thank Delegate Converse Fowler for bringing this bill forward, and I'd also like to mention that in 2008, Delegate O'Rourke was one of the first legislators in Virginia to pass legislation that dealt with licensing and inspections in Virginia for our puppy mills here, so I appreciate his input on the language. Many of the comments I was going to make, Delegate Fowler already made, but just one update. 4 pet stores in Virginia in the past 5 years have had severe violations This is more about transparency so consumers can make better informed decisions when buying a puppy. And we do have great reporting standards for bringing animals across state lines, but not while companion animals are under the care of the pet store, which was very apparent in the investigation in the Fairfax pet store in 2020, where they found over 14 rabbits dead in the freezer. So I'd ask that you support this bill, but mainly for the transparency for consumers in Virginia.
Delegate Wilt.
Thank you, Ma'am?
Yes.
Just a question for clarification. Did you say, that you named some period of time that there were severe violations?
Mhm.
What was that statement?
The violations, there were four out of the 5 pet stores in Virginia have had severe violations in the past 5 years.
Mr. Chairman?
Delegate Wilt.
If you're requiring the reports, how do you know that there were violations if they're not reporting it? Or is that just?
Oh, no, these are, I actually have a list of them if you'd like to hear them from the 4 pet stores, but these are other violations from animal control when animal control went in.
I'm with you.
All right, next.
Sharon Adams, you get a twofer. Sharon Adams, Virginia Alliance for Animal Shelters, and Kathy Strauss, Virginia Animal Control Association. We support this bill. We've supported every bill because we're old and we've been around. So
I can relate.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like for all
Ayes and nays.
parties to explain what they just said.
Tabitha Treelor with the Richmond SPCA. We also support this bill. The accountability that it provides to pet stores is a needed measure, and we hope that you will move to report.
We have you next.
Holly Hazard, Virginia Federation for Humane Societies, ditto.
Next.
Daphne Nekmanovich, PETA, ditto. Thank you.
I love it when you talk. It looks like the dogs.
Yeah, I've got 2. All right. There are 2 folks in virtual to testify on HB 523. First, we will start. Oh, I guess there's only one. I guess Rachel Kepnes.
Yes, I agree with everything Petta says, so ditto.
Beautiful. All right. Delegate Orrock.
Mr. Chairman, I move to recommend reporting the substitute.
All right. There's a motion to report the substitute. Is there a second? The motion has been properly moved and seconded to report the substitute. Clerk will open the roll. Clerk will close the roll. HB 523 reports 9-0.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Converse Fowler. All right, next, Delegate Shin. Delegate Corey's deals with it a little bit differently than the others, so if you don't mind, just present your bill real quick. Sorry.
Can you see me over the podium?
All right. Does she have any? All right. Delegate Shin, I understand you have a substitute?
Yes, sir.
All right. Could you explain what your substitute does?
Sure. It actually is a substitute that amends the bill to reflect a previous version of this offering that was made back in 2020 negotiations. And Mr. Chairman, I also have some documents I'd also like to pass out to members if that's okay. He didn't agree, so I don't know.
All right, what is this? Oh, I don't know if I want to see all this. Kidding. There you go. All right, real quick, could you explain your bill?
Yes. Well, thank you, Mr. Chair and members of the committee. The substitute language before you was actually borrowed from a suggestion back in 2020 that was offered by a lobbyist from the facility in question today. Right now, a Virginia animal breeder can export animals for experimentation to any location in the world without safeguards or rules to prevent neglect or suffering. This bill, as amended, would ensure that animals being exported overseas would only go to countries with animal welfare regulations that mirror our own.
In our country, when we decide to use animals for testing and experimentation, there are federal regulations that provide standards of care for animal welfare. And if a company breaks our nation's laws, they can export animals overseas to countries that lack what we have determined to be very basic humane safeguards and can subject animals to deprivation, suffering, and unnecessarily cruel death. As you will see in the photos before you, thank you also, clerk, for passing those out. This is just an example of the conditions these animals are in during transport alone. As we all know, there is a Virginia breeding facility that is already under significant scrutiny for repeated and willful violations of the U.S. Animal Welfare Act and the mistreatment of animals under their stewardship. In July of 2021, the USDA cited 26 violations at this facility, and during a follow-up investigation or inspection in October, 13 additional violations were discovered, including 11 repeat violations. I think that says it's very clear they have not taken action to remedy these chronic violations, and the documents, the second set of documents, should also outline some of these violations for you in further detail. Regardless of where we might stand on the issue of animal testing and experimentation, I think we can all agree the disregard for basic animal welfare is unacceptable. So, Mr. Chairman, if we can agree that in the U.S. and in Virginia, it's important to have at least minimal, again, very minimal regulations to prevent the suffering of animals, it is unreasonable to then allow their export to countries that do not share in these basic standards. I urge you to please report this bill and make certain that in this Commonwealth, the prevention of cruelty and suffering of animals is non-negotiable. Thank you, Mr. Chairman and members of the committee.
Thank you, Delegate Shin. Delegate Wilt.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chairman. Slow down for me just a little bit. I can't listen that fast. So my question, so what you're saying here about selling outside of the United States.
Sure.
Did you cite some source? I mean, my question, how do you know that they're going to have similar regulations and?
Sure. So I think there are countries and nations across the country that are across the world that have regulations in place for the welfare of their animals. And there are countries like Taiwan that do not mirror regulations or meet the bare minimum expectations that we have set here in the U.S. under the U.S. Animal Welfare Act. And so what we're asking for is that if we are exporting animals to a separate country, that they have some sort of regulations that will assure us that these animals will be cared for with some regard.
All right. All right, thank you. Since we don't have any more questions, are those in favor?
Could I also say to Delegate Wilt, I'm sorry that I spoke so fast. I'm sorry. It's my first subcommittee hearing, so I'm a little nervous.
We understand. We understand. So those, we'll take some testimony real quick. Those in favor? And again, unless you have anything to add, please keep it short.
Holly Hazard with the Virginia Federation of Humane Societies. This industry is shrouded in secrecy, but publicly available data shows that animals commercially bred in Virginia are sold to laboratories overseas, including Japan and Taiwan. WISPA the WISPA Index has given these nations abysmally low scores for animal welfare policy and legislation. Japan does not require registration of animal experimentation laboratories, training of personnel, or regulatory inspections. There's no oversight, only a self-reporting system that isn't enforceable or enforced. As in Japan, there's no oversight in Taiwan, only a self-reporting system. This leads to horrific cruelty for the animals involved, and Virginia should not be complicit. Thank you.
Hello again, Kathy Strauss, Virginia Animal Control Association, and Sharon Adams, Virginia Alliance for Animals. We're tag teaming now. This is your second twofer. We support the bill. Thank you.
Dr. Cindy Buckmaster, I've been directly involved in research and laboratory animal care for 25 years, and I absolutely support this bill. Nobody should be working with animals in research without decent animal welfare regulations.
Tabitha Treelor, the Richmond SPCA, also supports this bill, and I'll second the remarks of my colleague Holly Hazard. Thank you.
Molly Armis, Virginia State Director for the Humane Society of the United States. We support this bill and urge you to report it. Thank you.
Hello again, Daphne Nakminovich with PETA. We support the bill, and I affiliate myself with my colleagues' comments. Thank you.
right. Anybody against? Crickets. All right. So we have. What's that? Do we have virtual? Hold on. I keep forgetting. I forget one or the other. Let's see. Yes, we do. We have, I guess, Susan Lam. And I
Yes, thank you,
apologize if I butchered
Chairman.
those names. Yes, ma'am. Go ahead.
Members of the committee, Chairman, although we may need to source Virginia veterinary schools, these larger operations, such as we found in the Envigo operation, are much larger and emblematic of the humane problems we see in such large factory farming of dogs, along with the foreign sales testing now being against Virginia laws. We support the bill. Thank you.
All right, thank you. All right, before us we have the three bills that kind of deal with the same subject matter. Delegate Orrock brought up procedurally that if we act upon the broader bill, then the others we'll have to dispatch with because they're much more narrow in scope. And so the broader bill would be Delegate Bell's Bill 1350.
I move to report.
Just basically inserted as amended, just added or substitute. It was substitute. It didn't have any amendments, didn't it? We took it straight up. Yeah, no, it just added, animals for experimentation to the companion animal, and then it also added cats. So maybe I should have worn a cat tie. So we'll act upon that one first. This committee operates by motion. There's been a motion to report and seconded HB 1350. All those in favor, please record your vote on the electronic voting board. Clerk will close the roll.
I'm sorry, I'm trying to vote.
I apologize. Delegate Runyon.
Aye.
Delegate Runyon votes aye. With that added aye, HB 1350 reports 8-1.
Mr. Chairman.
Delegate Orrock.
Given the action on House Bill 1350, I would move to lay House Bill 523 on the table.
There has been a motion to lay House Bill 520. No, we reported 523.
I'm sorry, wrong number. Never mind.
I believe you meant HB 255.
Yeah, my bad. Thank you.
All right, there has been a motion to lay HB 255 on the table. Is there a second?
Second.
That motion has been made to lay and set properly seconded, lay HB 255 on the table. Clerk will open the roll. Aw. Clerk will close the roll. Oh, sorry. Delegate, all right. HB 255 is laid on the table. Vote to 7-2. And we have Delegate Shin's bill. Delegate Orrock.
Lay House Bill 1061 on the table.
There has been a motion to lay HB 1061, properly moved and seconded. Clerk will open the roll. Clerk will close the roll. HB 1061 is laid on the table. Now, last but certainly not least, which has deals with this in a different manner, Delegate Corey, could you please come explain your bill? Is there any amendments or substitutes?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. There are no amendments or substitutes unless there's...
Fantastic. Delegate Corey, please explain your bill.
I will do that. And first, I would like to give you all a message from my esteemed chief co-patron, Buddy Fowler, who made me promise not to threaten you with any particular violent action if you don't accept his bill. But He's hiding in finance, so I can only tell you what he texted me. My bill, HB 1313, requires entities that breed dogs or cats for sale or transfer to an animal testing facility to keep records of each animal for 2 years from the date of sale or transfer, and to annually submit a summary of the records to the state veterinarian. Such entities shall also report certain information to the state vet on a monthly basis, and the reportable information will include birth, acquisition, death, sale, transfer, or other disposition of the animals. Mr. Chairman, it's my belief that required reporting from facilities such as in Vigo will bring sunlight to what has been previously been going on, mostly in the dark, even though USDA has cited in Vigo at least 2 times. I am asking you to help us bring attention and responsible behavior to breeding with responsible breeding policies. We all know what the right thing to do is, and we know that Virginia can do the right thing to have animals living in Virginia, regardless of their purpose, to be in a safe, humane, and healthy situation. And that is also to be in compliance with the USDA and the Commonwealth of Virginia's animal welfare laws. You have all heard a lot of other testimony, and there are some articles and pictures that have been circulated. It's late. I will not repeat the horrific situation that's going on in Vigo, and that is, of course, the prompt for all these bills. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Chairman, question of the patron.
Delegate Orrock.
And to your closing comments there, Delegate.
Yes.
We know what the genesis behind all of these is.
Right.
Would it be fair to say that your bill was designed to get more data, to bring more pressure for us to do what we just did through Delegate Bell's bill?
It would be totally fair to say that, yes.
Follow-up question.
Delegate Orrock.
So given what we did with Delegate Bell's bill, why do we need to do this?
They are different. They are different. They do require some different reporting.
But follow-up. We've acknowledged the horrors that are going on in that facility.
Yes.
What I see the purpose of your bill being is to cast total transparency on those horrors.
Yes.
But it doesn't stop any of them. But it appears to me with Delegate Bell's bill, by putting that facility in the same posture now as any other dealer or commercial entity, to me, we've taken a hammer to a big problem, and we don't need to shine a glass on it to see how big the problem is. No disrespect. If this one hadn't passed, I wouldn't be asking these questions.
I understand. Mr. Chairman, may I respond, please?
Please.
The bill that Delegate Fowler and I are chief co-patroning is designed to bring sunlight to all organizations that breed animals and do not follow the USDA or the Code of Virginia's animal welfare laws. It's also to, as you put it, bring pressure. As I'm sure you know, a lot of change comes from public exposure and public pressure. And Delegate Bell and I both have the same goal, but we have different methods. And I would hope, that you would see value in both of them.
All right. There are no more questions. Let's start with testimony. And if we can, keep it short, but address some of the concerns. Let's.
Excuse me. Can she go first?
Whoever's first, step up.
Mr. Chairman, I have invited a friend who has adopted two of the beagles from the Envigo situation, and she's been waiting a long time to testify. If you would.
Absolutely, Delegate Corey, please.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the subcommittee. My name is Katie Mustian, and I live in Chesterfield County. As Delegate Corey stated, I would like to introduce you to my two beagles, Greta and Cher. Greta, just like Delegate Fowler has. They both were breeder dogs at that facility in Cumberland County for almost 8 years. In those 8 years, they each had 16 litters. Each had 16 litters in less than 8 years. Greta passed away about 2 years ago, but Cher will celebrate her 15th birthday in April. She loves to go for walks, lay in beds, lay in pillows. She's very timid. I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that she lived in these terrible conditions for so many years. The conditions at this facility are barbaric. Investigations by the USDA and PETA have proven that. The thought of Greta and Cher, my sweet beagles, going through all this is just gut-wrenching for me. It's time that we hold this place accountable. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, Sharon Quillen Adams, Virginia Alliance for Animal Shelters. We do support this bill. I appreciate the comments that Delegate Orrock made, as always, and I'm delighted with your action on the Bell bill. However, as someone who operated a shelter, record keeping is what keeps folks honest. And while I understand the effort that Bell's bill makes, it does not, in my understanding, provide the kind of transparency that record keeping does. I also want to tell you quickly, because I couldn't speak about Simon's bill, there's an ability to do something else besides Envigo. We've gotten Virginia Tech, which was buying Envigo dogs, to now take dogs from our shelters and train veterinary students with dogs from our shelters rather than buying from Envigo. So it's not an essential service. There's lots of other ways we can use these animals. Thank you.
Tabitha Treelor with the Richmond SPCA. I'm also speaking on behalf of the Virginia Coalition for Beagle Protection and the 37 animal welfare organizations that have signed on to that coalition. This bill, even with the passage or the reporting of Delegate Bell's bill, we believe that this is still a necessary measure to provide accountability and transparency. Virginia's releasing agencies report to the state veterinarian, and that has been a great improvement in the animal welfare field to have that accountability, to have that transparency, and that we ask that the committee move to report this bill. I will remind you that this facility was under the radar since 1961, and even legislators in the very next county were unaware of the facility's existence until very recently. This will provide accountability for the almost...
Thank you. Next.
Good evening, Daphne with PETA. Thank you. I wanted to address Delegate Orrock's concern is that Delegate Corey and Delegate Fowler's bill will actually allow us to know some data that Delegate Bell's bill is simply if there are violations of the USDA Animal Welfare Act. So we would have to wait on the USDA violations in order to know if there are problems, whereas Delegate Corey and Delegate Fowler's bill would allow us to know some data. For example, we spoke about numbers earlier. We spoke about COVID. COVID hit us about 730 days ago, 2 years ago. A dog's gestation period is 63 days. That's 11 cycles of breeding at Envigo. Could this $545 million company not figure out that they weren't selling dogs? They continued to breed dogs at the rate of 500 puppies a month. This bill, Delegate Corey and Delegate Fowler's bill, would allow us to know how many animals are born, how many animals die unassisted. The USDA found 300 puppies died of unknown causes and the facility not trying to figure out why they were dying. These are all data points that would assist the state of Virginia, which has had no oversight to date, to do its job. Thank you.
Thank you. Next.
Holly Hazard, I just want to reiterate the importance of Delegate Corey's bill and Delegate Fowler's bill in addition to Delegate Bell's bill, because as was mentioned, this company started in 1963. Had we had information that we could have gotten transparent information on the number of deaths, we would have noted 200 puppies had died before the federal government came in, and they either could have taken corrective action or been shut down prior to, I can't do the math, but what is this, 25 years later, 35 years later? Thank you.
Molly Armis, I'm the Virginia State Director for the Humane Society of the United States. Just associating myself with all the comments made, we encourage you to support this bill. Thank you.
Susan Seward, VVMA, ditto. Thank you.
All right, Delegate Corey, you have the last word. Oh, sorry, hold on. We have some folks virtually. Thank you. Let's see, Rachel Kepnes.
Yes, hi, I agree with Peter. Shut down the facility, if you can.
We can hear you. Go ahead.
Oh, I said I agreed with Peter.
All right, thank you. That was Susan.
Yes, Susan Lelmy with the Virginia Dog Army. I just wanted to also address Delegate Orrick's concerns in that this reporting gives some transparency also to consumers, so they have more information about who they're dealing with when they purchase. Thank you.
All right. Delegate Corey, you have the last word.
Oh, yeah. Opposing.
Oh, yeah, sorry, I oppose. I'm tired. Those opposed.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman and members of the subcommittee. I'm Carmen Wilburn, Vice President of North American Operations for Envigo. We firmly believe that the legislation introduced to force us to disclose commercially sensitive information isn't the right way to ensure animal welfare. We have said that instead we welcome increased oversight from the State Veterinarian's Office and are prepared to work jointly with the Commonwealth to ensure the dogs in our charge are well cared for. The state veterinarian would have unfettered access to our facilities and records, and we feel that would be enough from a transparency perspective. And please, I invite all of you to come out to visit the facility and see firsthand how our animals are cared for and housed. So you have my invitation, and I hope to see you out at our facility. Thank you.
All right, is there anybody else? Okay. Delegate Corey, you have the last word.
Thank you. I think you're implying the brief last word, aren't you?
I appreciate it.
And I will be brief. I will say that I'm delighted that this committee is moving Delegate Bell's, and maybe he'll be senator one day, bill forward, because it is an important bill. And I think if you combine the effect of the bill that Delegate Fowler and I are putting forward with Delegate Bell's bill, we will have become a much more responsible and humane Commonwealth and be proud to say that we're from Virginia. Please pass this bill. Thank you.
Mr. Chair, move to report.
Second.
All right. The chair has a substitute motion. All right. There has been a motion to report properly seconded, but there is a substitute motion. Delegate Wilk.
Mr. Chair, I move to gently lay the bill on the table.
There's been a motion to gently lay the bill on the table. That is a higher motion. Is there a second? There is a second. All right. Clerk will open the roll. Clerk will close the roll. HB 1313 is laid on the table, 6-3. Thank you, Delegate Corey. Is that everybody?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
No, that's fine. That's fine. We'll take that up in full. All right. Thank you very much for the dog days of winter right now for the committee, and we will be adjourned.